And as always, views and comments are welcome on this show. Look for us on our social media handles at Joy News on Facebook and on Twitter. Send us that comment with the hashtag The Pulse. We'll be glad to share your thoughts with the rest of the world. Anything that happens on the show, you can share your views with us. We'll be glad to be interactive with you throughout the course of the program. Now, let's begin with what's arguably been the biggest introduction. Long, spacious, air-conditioned and comfortable buses. That's the BRT system. It started pilot operations on a partial level today and has been offering free bus rides through the capital city. And don't worry if you're not benefited yet. The free rides will be continued throughout this week. So yes, some will call it a default, but it's here to stay. I'm talking about the bus rapid transit system, which started operations today. The buses are expected to facilitate movement through the congested capital. My colleague Derek Akosam took a ride on one of the buses.
So we are at Tudu and Accra. This is where the BRT buses will take off before they go to their various destinations, to Achimota, to Ofankor, and then to other places. Today, they are having a simulation exercise of a sort. They want to see whether or not the systems would work. They want to test the waters to see if people are even aware of the operations of these buses. So come along with me. Let's go on this ride and see what it is we can learn on the ride today. The buses have become operational from today, as in the simulation exercises today. Tell us why it appears that not many people heard about it. Why?
Yeah, like I told you from the beginning, this is going to carry on from today up to Friday. And then the idea is to test the system, one, to see the competency level of the drivers, two, the challenges that are on the route, and then three, to see if the comments of the passengers who you are going to pick, to enable us to roll out a nice customer care system for the bus system.
So for how long will you have the simulation exercise?
For one week, between today and Friday. The cards which are going to be used for boarding the bus are going to be out, and they will show you how to charge it, like the ECG card, for instance. You can decide to charge it for a month or a week, depending upon your pocket. And like I showed you, you just show it to the bus. If you enter, you are going out, then the bus will deduct. It depends upon the number of bus stops you use. And the fee will be, I think they will reveal it to you today at the press conference.
Okay, so when your card runs out, as in when you run out of money on your card, what happens?
The nearest bus stop, the service is there. You just go there and then charge it.
Okay. And I know that you can kneel the bus and raise the bus. Why is that so?
Yes, it's about the leveling of the bus, the loading bay. The bus, you have some curbs. And then there are people who are physically challenged, the elderly, who this bus is really meant for. They may not be able to climb. So the bus must aid them to enter it easily. That is why they're kneeling to lower the height, and then after that it goes up. Sometimes when it reaches an area where the land is, the challenges on the road pavement, the bus can raise itself to be able to surmount those obstacles.
Why did you join the bus today?
No, because they say it's free. I want to see how it is. That's why I joined the bus.
So what have you realized on the journey?
Oh no, it's good. But only when they can maintain the bus. It is a main problem. Maybe today is new, but next time maybe when it is old, they can maintain it. So we need them to maintain the bus. That is my problem. They say today is free, and maybe later on they'll be taking money from us.
Yes, from Monday you'll be charged.
So we don't want to know the amount. Maybe we'll be paying from Monday.
It's very, very nice bus.
What do you like about it?
Oh, I like to make it come plenty. Then you continue to board the car.
Okay. So tell me about the ride from where you joined up to here. What have you seen?
Oh, I see say it's very, very nice. So air conditioning days, so it's very, very nice car.
I can say this bus is so special. It's model bus that I never see before. We have a whole lot of bus. Some have come before this one's come, but this one, even the air conditions is too much. I'm feeling that this car is special car that they brought. So we all will join it, and everybody that is joining this car too, it's free. Nobody is paying anything.
Okay. Talk about Ghanaians enjoying something for the first time and the kind of response they will give you. Interesting thoughts there. Well, Derek Akosam brought us that report. Samson Jamra, the Chief Executive Officer of GAPTE, spoke to newsmen a while ago about the launch of this rapid transport system.
we are actually simulating the schedules to be able to get our drivers and our operational staff operationally ready for the day of launching.
Okay.
There are things that we've taught our drivers, and there are schedules that we have put in place for them to work with. So today is a test of the systems. It's an internal test of our systems for the operational readiness for our guys.
Okay.
We're actually picking passengers for free simply because we want the guys to have a real life experience on the corridor as much as possible to prepare us for the day of launch.
Okay, so how was the first day of the simulation exercise?
Well, as you can tell, I mean, I'll be very frank with you. We started this on Thursday last week, and the very first day was not to our satisfaction. But Friday was quite better, and today was also quite good. So basically, our people are getting the hang of it and are getting ready for the services.
I'm sure you've picked some feedback from your drivers. Are there any challenges you want to talk about?
Well, the biggest challenge that we have, for example, is trying to meet one of our attributes, which is to reduce the journey time. As you can see, we are calling, for me, I will not say this is a full BRT. It is not a full BRT. There are certain attributes of BRT that we are putting on the system to enhance the quality of the system. The attributes include the payment system, that is the automated fare collection arrangements. But for you to have the full BRT experience, we should have dedicated facilities for the buses from origin to destination, which is not the case that we have. The 22-kilometer stretch that we have actually has just about 13% of that stretch having dedicated facilities for the bus, and that is between Achimota and Tudu. And that gives us a journey time savings once they are operational of about 15 to 20 minutes. So your normal journey from Amasaman to Tudu, that takes about 90 minutes to accomplish. We are expecting that once our systems are fully operational, it will take about 70 minutes to do that journey. So basically, those are the things that we are attempting to test, and the readiness for the drivers to be able to run scheduled operations, so that we have realistic, what we call the differences in the time of arrivals of the buses are all properly scheduled and monitored from the control room, our control room at Achimota. Those are the things we are testing currently.
Are you able to tell us when we'll be able to achieve a full BRT system?
Well, the dedicated facilities have to be created and added incrementally on the system, so that the more we have dedicated facilities for the buses, the more we can be able to be assured of proper scheduled services and a shorter journey time. Those are what the key attributes of a BRT are. Until we have that infrastructure incorporated, it takes time to get those things done, and it costs some money. But we are getting this pilot on the road so that we don't let that stop us from giving the people the kind of bus services that we want them to have.
So on that score, on that note, would you say that we're in a rush to implement this?
I wouldn't say we are in a rush, because this is long overdue. We started this journey in 2007 when the Ghana Urban Transport Project was inaugurated. And there has been a lot of issues in terms of implementation. The easiest has been the implementation of the infrastructure. The more difficult ones were the social issues, dealing with the informal sector, getting them to accept to be part of the services and incorporating them into the institutional framework that we are carrying out now. Those have been the difficult aspects of the implementation. So if we've gotten to a stage where we have their buy-in and their cooperation, it's about time that we experimented on the corridor with all the assumptions that we put in place to see how they really work in real life, in terms of the business case, in terms of the journey experience for the commuters, and all the enhancements that we have to put in place.
So that's the Chief Executive Officer of GAPTE, the regional managers of the BRT system for the Greater Accra region. So we will have a conversation on this, some analysis on what's happened today when it was launched, the experience of people, and what will be done to improve the system even in the first week as this very new and innovative means of public transport is rolled out this week. And while we wait and start that conversation, let's quickly remind ourselves of where we've come from when it comes to public transport. And as you can see behind me, the inscription on that bone shaker is simple. Wano pasem na do fiasem. But that bone shaker reminds us of where we've come from and where we're heading today. Inscriptions are also quite an important feature when it comes to public transport. Well, Wanda, my colleague Wanda has put together a report especially on these common inscriptions and what it means for our public system. Have you even stopped to think about what it means for our system? Watch this.
The art of writing phrases on vehicles dates back to the colonial era, when expressions such as slow but sure, I love my car, Elemausi were very common to see on Bedford trucks with locally crafted wooden bodies. That's what we know as the bone shaker. Today, the practice is popular among commercial vehicles, mostly trotros and taxis. At least 1 out of 5 trotros has an inscription on it. And these signs, known as motonyms, take different forms. Some are funny, some biblical, and others are written to send a message to one's enemy. Let's get into the minds of these drivers today and understand the philosophy behind the inscriptions on their vehicles.
Wife problem. Still nyame betre. These are but a few of the many inscriptions you find behind vehicles. These inscriptions, popularly referred to as signboards among drivers, have various meanings, some sarcastic, others hilarious. Well, today we are visiting some stations in Accra to find out what exactly fascinates these drivers about these inscriptions and what they mean.
Wife problem. Wawali bebelenti na I say omu de be amuhia mu omunku na on otro wife problem no okọ asorekwa yenti a okọ asorekwa no ene say ye na mkwan so a posini obagie sika na obagie no okọ asorekwa siada pa enso no yidu ha bibia pepepe e waka no ho ahwe ni na chikwa wi o ka che say man 1 cd ntina matro me kan chi say okọ asorekwa no ko concern bebre yenti a me chiro ne say bi nipa de unam wiase o ba wo ba fo say bia unni otanfo papa oboni o wuye bia enso nipa da sane ani obi wo unam a wo adwuma a wo ya no no wa den ne chese ne tanfo no ba unni adwuma na say wo ya e kan no ko anaka de bia be den bebisa no no ye de no ntie wanu ma den asem ba obu wo so a e bia bebisa no onya ma wo bai no we tie wanu ma den asem obi de bia ye be pa enya 1 and enya 2 atosu be say 4 times quarantine ma me den me chiro sa symbol we den egu ka na echi
ena mejuma ye nti a me ye nti mezum ye juma me maspe nti a different fire no oh a sene so bi o pejuma obi obojuma
ona bi chi driver your friend bebeto na opeso kire say ade opeso ye driving no sana bebeto ayo obobo nti opeso e bi ti sese na bebeto ayo obobo ni sana opeso ayo driving nti no chiro sa entre driving no ni size obi ani o sa the whole new plan dey obi sana se obi ani
who knows tomorrow no to say obi wo ho a obeya ade a onim say a chena wo ho eno no say na ope no no ye ana me so minim say a chena wo ho enenya a chena betima ye
Esro first no na mikitaka ka kese entino ayese ekwan so obia ni din a ope what I say na okolo journey so a ebi wa ha no obi betira kama ye bompa ye ni ade entino na ma bompa ye wi a mesema musuro what I say enti akoye din a aka enti ka bia manya bia no ese metwono gu won nsuro.
In a bid to express themselves, however, some drivers end up misspelling these inscriptions. Let's take a look at a few. This one says, experience, falasifu, Holy Ghost fire. And well, I guess you would have to read this for yourself. Veteran musician Nana Kwame Ampedu perhaps best captures some fascinating ones in his song titled Drivers.
Cool and collected, lover boy, and be no man.
So the next time you see a vehicle with an interesting inscription, you might want to get close to the driver to find the meaning. Wanda Hagan, Joy News, Accra.
I bet your mind may have come across this a couple of times, but you've not stopped to think about it. Well, nice report put together by Wanda Hagan there for us today. Well, let's return to still within the realms of transport, but with what has been rolled out today is new, innovative. What was day one like when the bus rapid transit system was unveiled today as the launch was done? Let's now speak to Roland Bruce. He's the head of marketing and communications at the Greater Accra Passenger Transport Executive, GAPTE. He joins us now in the studio. Thank you, sir, for coming today.
You're welcome.
You must be a busy man today when it was launched.
I'm telling you, it's been a very busy day.
You look tired.
Very
tired.
Very
but how has it been for you, day one?
Well, I think it was such an experience, and we started the operation from 5 a.m. Yeah, so as you're saying, I'm tired.
But some said that the communication was that for many points, it was actually one route you were using, and that one route, the first pickup should have been 5:30. It didn't happen, did it?
Well, the whole concept of our scheduled buses is supposed to move from our terminals at 5 a.m. The depot is at Achimota Terminal, the new Achimota Terminal. So all buses need to move from that, and then we had schedules. We had schedules for this particular test run, which the buses really moved at those kind of schedules to their specific locations.
And per the schedule, the first bus to move was at what time?
The first bus that was supposed to move was 5 a.m.
But the first bus did not move, did it?
It moved from our depot. We were all there. It moved at 5 a.m. From the depot.
And the first pickup was what time?
For the first pickup, well, we were monitoring all the movement according to the schedules from the depot at the depot. So we were all there. So the drivers and all the other people also who were in those particular buses also followed through the schedules. So at the end of the day, we were doing the schedules based on what the commuters should feel like in the bus, and because it's one thing to have all these things planned, and then it's also one thing all these things be implemented with the people. So that was the main purpose for us to do these particular test runs. Yes. So at the end of the day, we had the schedules according to the movement from the depot to those particular terminals. And mind you, we have Achimota Terminal, we have the Ofanko Terminal, and we have the Amasaman Terminal.
Okay.
So based on these schedules that we gave to them. So for example, we scheduled the 5 a.m. bus to move from the depot to the Amasaman at a particular time, so that the bus will arrive there at a particular time. But
what time was it?
So it took, I think, approximately about 10 minutes. 10 to 12 minutes.
To move from Achimota to the Amasaman Terminal.
To the Amasaman Terminal from that time. So we were trying to make sure all these timelines are being followed in according to also go through the corridors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that many who would be happy about it being free and the ability to see how it works is the element of cutting down on the number of time you spend, the amount of time you spend in traffic. What is the time span from Amasaman to Circle? How many minutes should it be?
Yeah, we are saying that approximately, if you take an average within these corridors, it's about 90 minutes. But we are saying that you're going to eliminate 20 to 25 minutes from your journey time.
So if it's 90 minutes, that's an hour and 30 minutes. You're not cutting it down to an hour?
An hour.
And was it done today, per your test?
Yes, according to because we did it according to the peak times, the peak hours. So that's how we're staggering our schedules for these test runs, because these are the periods that you find rush hours, and also people are not getting cars, and also traffic. So the same thing in the evening. So we were able to achieve these kind of things that we were anticipating. Yes, of course, some of the things that we were expecting to happen, especially using our dedicated lanes, were not really used, but then I don't. They were able to.
Why was it not used?
Well, it's part of the plan that we'll be using our dedicated lanes within the periods that we have, because we are starting Monday to Friday, and we have specific objectives for Monday, and then another for Tuesday. So we're running all those kind of objectives to run into total thing.
So this was just a trial run today.
This is a trial run, of course. All these days will be for test runs, but then we have specific goals for each day to enable us to implement a proper ILO system.
Was there anything today during the trial test that caught you by surprise?
Well, I would say that for these surprises, it was basically about the people were sending messages that we were using buses which were not registered. Yes, and because it was all about the test run, we wanted to use, so we used the DV1 to do the test run. But all our buses, I want to use this opportunity to clear that all our buses are insured, 100%. They are totally insured.
Insured by whom?
For that, we will lay out all.
But once you say that you want to clear it, let's clear it properly.
Yes.
If you say that it's insured, I need to get the confidence that indeed it has been insured. Insured by whom? SIC? Which company?
No, we'll put these kind of information around. God willing, on Wednesday.
Okay.
We'll put all those.
The
stakeholders.
Is there a difficulty in not giving us that information?
No,
now?
it's not about the difficulty in getting those information available, but then it's all about our timelines in terms of what we want to deliver at any time. Yes, this can be made off record, or it can be made here that, okay, SIC or this company did it. But at the end of the day, we have a schedule to make all information at a particular time. It all follows to our corporate way of communication too. So we just want to also follow our brand in terms of our communication strategies and everything, to make sure that people really don't have perceptions about what we are going to do for the society. Okay. So we make all this information available.
One thing that also came up, and checking the social media questions that have been coming up, is about if there are dedicated lanes for the BRT, and you say that it's a partial implementation of the BRT. Some would say, why couldn't we wait for the full one to come and then we use it? Why they're actually doing it partly when we can do it fully?
Well, I think this was what World Bank wanted to.
If you could speak up a bit.
Yeah, World Bank wanted to implement something like that, but then it was looking at our limitations with our road network, especially if you look at Accra, looking at where we want to start. And mind you, we are not doing only Amasaman to Tulu corridor. We have other corridors. We have the terminal through the beach to CBD, and we have the Kasua one through to the CBD, and then also we have the Adenta one through to the CBD. So these are all areas which we are saying that the Amasaman to Tulu corridor is a pilot to implement majorly the full BRT also in other places. But basically, for a full BRT, getting an A to Z dedicated lane, when you're imagining, for example, Amasaman to Tudu corridor, it's going to be a little bit difficult. And it's cost, the amount of money that would be in it is very, very costly. So we want to start somewhere, and that's why we spotted some places to issue and to create these kind of queue jumpers as a pilot, so that the commuters, everyone in the society will accept this particular thing. And of course, if it becomes necessary for us to expand it fully, of course, we all want to see what Nigeria is doing from A to Z without any hindrance or anything. That's what we expect. But we want to start from somewhere and then end somewhere.
Okay. Now, once you mention start from somewhere and end somewhere, yes, this week is free, but from next week, I'm sure many will have to pay for the service.
Yes. I will say that commercially in operation, we're going to start within this October. So this test run, yes, of course, after the free rides, people will now have to pay for it, because now we're going to start operation commercially as
have the fees already, have those fees been already listed out? You know how much it will cost from one point to the next. So people begin to say, look, I love this, I love the free ride, but I want to also budget and prepare and add this to my plans.
Yes.
What's the plan for that?
Yes, for the fares, we are using the zones of fares with the trotro, because with our dialogue with the operators, that's the GPRTU, the Protua, the GRTCC, and then cooperative. We've been having this dialogue from the beginning, and they've been advising us on what to do. So at the end of the day, we also don't want a situation whereby we are not bringing something so new, but we are trying to manage mobility here. So we also want to make it as an easy thing for them, because they're already used to how much they are paying with the trotro. So that's the same thing that we are trying to
So same price I'll pay for the trotro that will take me 2 hours.
Yes. the same thing that you're
same value.
Same value, and then as such too, you'll be in this bus. You can use our USB port. We are bringing Wi-Fi in the buses.
How does that work? Because moving from one cell site to the next and using Wi-Fi, how will it work?
Well, I think this will be directed to our technical, and they've made it work. They are making it work. It's the same thing when it comes to our communication from the back end. That's our center operating center and the bus. Because, for example, if something happens in the bus, there's a communication which can easily identify that this is what is happening with the bus, and the driver can be communicated to that you need to stop. So there's this POS that has been established, and then the technical teams have been meeting to make sure this thing happens. And as such, with the company that we are using to do the Wi-Fi system, they're also making their own.
Which company is that?
We'll put that one across on Wednesday.
Okay, it looks as though most of the information is yet to come through, but I thank you for the time spending with us today. It's day one. I'm sure that all the other issues that have come out will be ironed out, and we'll get to see it rolled out properly in the coming days. But thank you for coming, Mr. Bruce. Roland Bruce is the head of marketing and communications at the Greater Accra Passenger Transport Executive, GAPTE, sharing some time with us today on day one of the launch of the Bus Rapid Transit system. We will be continuing our conversation. In fact, after the break, we'll delve into another area, but this time we'll do some politics and do some more, because but even before we do that, there is a looming public health crisis in the capital as parts of the city are covered in filth. Joining us, Matilda Omega has been to 2 of such places in Accra and has come through with this report.
So I'm currently here at the new plant station within the Kwame Nkrumah Circle in Accra. If you may recall, somewhere last year, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly demolished wooden structures along the stretch following the June 3 disaster, which claimed over 100 lives. Today, the situation is different. What we find here, huge refuse dump. As to how this refuse found its way here, we do not know. We'll be finding out more from residents, traders who work along this stretch. But close to this refuse dump is this storm drain. You can imagine what will happen if this refuse find its way into the storm drain.
My friend Frank Ajamai.
Okay, Frank, Oteha. Okay, so tell us, refuse here, Eguhai. Ebana saying because some time ago it wasn't here. Ebana sena abegu ha say bebresa.
We need the first no na Nigeria man bi na wa ha. No mo di container ba no hwa kama. Je tam mo bebubu ane de ko fa man bi be man ni enim no ba bia anu wa ba ha. Ana bola no so we blono na wa ha veno ala jonu.
This refuse dump has been created as a result of indiscipline from some people around. They collect the rubbish from different parts of Accra and dump them here on us. Someone manages this place. He charges 2 cedis.
Omudi free New Town La Paz bia bola ha no mudi ba
bola no mudi ba ha no aya ebegu han matam be cat fin be den ebese sana o de ko but we gu han almost be 2 months ubi some se car say enti bola abegu say ko the whole Accra Ghana region.
When you ask why they don't collect the rubbish, they say that their vehicles are broken down. This is not right. This is Ghana's capital city. AMA must wake up.
Fine, fine. A person no more area hanum na mo pay ya mere. Almost 3 years currently see Ghana who ni pay kom. Semu ye. Now how come say why her circle the whole Ghana today hey we be see ya no kofa ka okoya ha na befa. Okwa na be hu bola wi how dey no be Ghana.
Shegata kra na ben ya ha ya o. A bola sawa say so to kesi a dey be ba ni dey enye.
The entire area will be flooded if the rains come. This is not a good sight for those of us who trade along the stretch. We cannot stand the stench and are therefore asking city authorities to come in and help us address the situation.
So this is the plight of traders, residents who live around New Plant Station here at Circle. What they complain about this situation.
Say bia wa kra beka wa nkasa ujira ha no so for anihwe environment ya wa ha na hwe se ne nipa didi hwe ofiri akọ nyina ya duane a ye ton hwe ha ne nyina pake ba sisi na de wa oba ba ye dwuma wo de wo nso hwe nyema ye koso a senka wo ye dwuma ha so obetumi atena ha didi ha ya ne tifra no pakosi anwumre ye didi wa ha ye bibia hwe ya chi ya hwe bora pa gu a na bora no emfiri ye ni opranfo ha otimi so amudi moto ni ade ni.
The situation is so bad. We cannot even stand the stench. Just along this stretch, vendors cook and sell their food to us. Look at these children who are also exposed to this filth. We need city authorities to address the situation.
Bola si three kwan adan na bola for no nguni ho.
No MP dies from cholera. It is we the poor people who suffer the repercussion of this indiscipline. But we cannot be blamed because someone is in charge of this. The Accra Metropolitan Assembly must get back to work.
Na bola bi ha ba na wotwe miensa adan kolela ba MP ba na kuno. And then say one ban the building a kuno. Yeah, from one
yes, you'll be one or you're in charge or Gigi Discafia man for
so
we are still trying to get more answers to the situation here. Traders, resident drivers are certainly not happy about the space that has been occupied by refuse here. We'll still be getting the managers of this place to speak to them to find out how the situation can be addressed. Matilda Pamagan for Joy News, Accra.
Well, you may have thought that situation ends there, but no. It's no different also at the Kanishi market here in Accra. Traders are selling right in the middle of a refuse dump.
Right in the middle of the road, you find this heap of refuse. This is the situation here at the Kanishi market. No one knows how this refuse got to this point, but it has virtually blocked traffic. Cars are not able to ply this route because right here in the middle of the road, these refuse have been dumped here. Traders who openly display their wares to the public, who are worse affected by this situation, cannot speak because they fear being victimized by managers of this market.
Well, with this situation, let's feel the thoughts of someone who has a lot of expertise in sanitation. Mr. Ben Arthur joins us now on the line. He's a sanitation consultant. Thank you, sir, for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Arthur, this will not be something different that we are seeing in Accra, but I'm looking at the time and when it's happening here in Accra. Is it that we are beginning to concentrate too much on the politics, for which reason the man at the top who needs to do the job is busy doing politics?
No, not necessarily. I don't think it's the politics which tend to sway the focus from the work in the area of sanitation to campaign. I think that has been the attitude. It happens once and there is a press conference to talk about it. The following day, nothing is done. So it's not the politics, because if it's actually the politics, they should have influenced the politics. By doing this work, people will know that you're actually doing a job, and therefore you need to be voted for. So it's not an issue of politics. It's an issue of the job as usual.
Now, when you say it's not politics, then let's now zero into what then is the problem here. Why are we seeing more and more of this impudence of people throwing garbage in the wrong places?
I think that it's a number of, you are looking at a number of factors. You are looking at we ourselves as attitude. Why do we want to sweep? Gather all these refuse and put them in a gutter. So our attitude is a factor in this. The other side is that even if when we have swept our homes or our offices or our market and have gathered all these refuse, where do we send it? We don't have containers to put them in. We don't have places that we can send them for treatment. So at the household level, Even if you are an individual, you are trying to do what is you consider to be your role. At the end of the day, the aspect or the part which needs to come and carry the refuse from your house or from your location to the designated site for treatment is not there. Then also you are realizing in Accra, I think we are doing about 2,200 to 1,500 tons of waste a day, and about 60% is collected. So the supply of the refuse, the collection of the refuse is less than what is being produced, and therefore there will be a surplus, and surplus is what we have in the gutter. Those people who collect them don't have the adequate capacity to do all the work. So that is the result of what we are seeing. And it didn't start today. It has been there for all this while.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Arthur, for your time. Clearly, it's down to our attitudes as a people, both policy and also for those who are dumping the waste in those wrong places. But thank you for your time. Ben Arthur is a water and sanitation consultant, sharing his thoughts with us today on this very terrible phenomenon here in Accra, where people dump refuse in the wrong places.